Hey guys, I wanted to make some super quick content for you guys about digital versus handmade porcelain veneers. I know it must be confusing for patients to be like, what's the difference? What are dentists talking about? You know, how are things changing? Of course, it's confusing for you guys. It's all a really new workflow for us as well. And traditionally, the way that porcelain veneers were made, they'd be handmade, and when done at this level, at our level, they'd be handmade by a master ceramist. So our master ceramist would sit there, she'd ask us to allow her 2 weeks to make your work, and in that time she'd use 30 different shades in every tooth and hand make these beautiful teeth for you, these porcelain ceramics for you, porcelain veneers to emulate teeth, and that's how the workflow used to go. So it used to be 5 appointments split up over 6 weeks, and that's the way that we've done it for years and years, and that's the way I've done this for the 23 years in my practice. Obviously, AI, digital is all evolving, life is changing, and the digital workflow is starting to come into more and more clinics. So nowadays we use scanners, we use 3D scanners when we're scanning, as you know, so that rather than taking those gooey impressions, putting gooey stuff in your mouth, now you come in and we scan your mouth, and then from there we've got this 3D model that we can use to we can send it to labs anywhere in the world, and then they can work on your mouth, and we can work on your mouth when you're not there, and it's really cool. We were scanning for most things. We weren't scanning for our veneer cases when we were doing 10 or 20 units of veneers, because we found that all those scanners are very accurate. We still found that those traditional handmade impressions were still more accurate than the digital scanners at this stage. And because it's so important to us that our beautiful handmade natural veneers made by our master ceramist were the absolute ultimate best fit that they could be, we're still using putty impressions, and that's slowly changing, and digital scanners are getting better, and they're nearly there, and so we're starting to scan for some cases. But that's a process. And then once the veneers are sent to the lab, then we've always had them handmade. You guys know that I've done over 14,000 ceramics with my master ceramist, and she's amazing. And you guys have seen all my work. But we've started to do a few cases now with the digital workflow, which means that we scan the preps, and then we send them to a machine, and the machine then uses the design that we've made for these teeth to print your teeth for you in the color that potentially that you want. And so you end up with this beautiful smile that's been printed. It can still be printed in Emax porcelain, but it's been printed by a computer and by a machine, as opposed to made by a human being. And we're still creating beautiful results like that. We've got cases that we've done this week. We've got this beautiful case that we had made with handmade by Nikki, my master ceramist. We've got this case that we had digitally printed, also by a master ceramist who works with a full digital workflow, and you can kind of see the difference almost in them, but both really beautiful smiles. So I just want to kind of jump on and make a video and explain what's going on and where we are right now in this workflow. So going through the digital process, we can still create really beautiful smiles with the same Emax quality in a quicker time period and a cleaner, easier time period without using the gooey stuff in your mouth, but they are computer made as opposed to handmade, where you have those perfect, beautiful handmade discrepancies that happen when something's real, when it's the difference between a real tree and a great artificial replica of a tree that also may look lovely, but it's not quite that real tree, and the characterization and the little dry bit of bark or whatever it is that you have on that. Not that you'd have dry bits of bark on your porcelain, but the 30 different shades and the natural changes that you have. I think the digital workspace will evolve, and we hear that we're hearing that in art everywhere, aren't we? That the AI and the digital space is starting to write stories, make films, create music, and will it completely replace the human element? I don't know. But for now we've got both, and we're using the right one where appropriate. But I thought I'd jump on it and make a video and try and explain that a little bit for you. I hope that helped.